You are listening to Practical and Woo by Mindset and Manifest. I'm your host, Eden, and I'm so excited to offer you this bonus series called the CBRDBR series. This side series is a forum for us to meet interesting guests with unique perspectives and gifts discovered from lived experiences that are both practical and woo. Let's dive in. On this episode of the CBRDBR series, I'd like to introduce you to Manuj Aggarwal. Manuj is a global thought leader in the startups and AI spaces, and he's also a technology consultant and business mentor. He went from working as a factory worker earning $2 a day to holding 4 patents in artificial intelligence and authoring 2 books on technology. Manuj's work in the tech space has positively impacted over 10 million people. Manuj's story is a testament to the effect of adding a little courage with a little insight, wherein anything becomes possible. Hi, Manuj. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be having this conversation with you today on Practical and Woo. How are you?
Good. How are you? Excited to be here. Thank you so much.
I'm doing well as well. I am equally as excited to be here. I know there has been a little bit of divine alignment in terms of our timing, and it feels so right to be sitting here with you today. So my first question for you is, I know you have this incredible journey that we spoke about how you went from making $2 a day to operating a Fortune 500 company. Is that
No,
correct?
not operating Fortune 500, but working with Fortune 500 companies,
Working,
delivering
delivering.
technologies and, working on large projects with them. So yeah.
My apologies. My apologies. Yes, working with, and you own 4 patents in the AI space.
Yes, yes.
And how did you come to be here working with Fortune 500s, moving from your $2 a day job to where you are now? Like what was the process that got you here?
The very first thing is, okay, let me put the disclaimer first. I know you are a lawyer. So the disclaimer is that I didn't have a plan to say, oh, I'm earning $2 a day sitting in this factory, and one day I'm going to be in the boardroom with a senior vice president of a Fortune 500 company. That never crossed my mind. But what really was happening was I wanted to change my life, and I wanted to experience the things that I saw other people experiencing, and I noticed that uh, everybody has the same potential, everybody has the same capability. I was just in a position of disadvantage, and I thought, okay, how can I change my situation? And I learned earlier on that the world will give you how they see you as what is your intrinsic value. And in order to increase my intrinsic value, I have to acquire a new skill that is valuable to the world. And so from that factory, the next step was, okay, figuring out, okay, what is that valuable skill that I can acquire? And it turned out to be technology. I had a lot of challenges getting into technology. Like, the education was expensive, and it was not very affordable. But nevertheless, I got in, and I realized, this is exactly what I wanted to do. I was good at it. It was a lot of fun, and the world valued it, right? So that was the first step in improving my situation. Now, after the basic needs were met, I had good income coming and all of that. Then I started noticing that, okay, this profession of mine, it can help so many people improve their lives. Because, and this is true for any profession. I'll just speak about my profession, which is it used to be programming. I used to write a lot of code. I noticed that I write a line of code and I ship it to like 1,000 people, and they run the piece of code on their computer, and it does help them in many ways improve their lives. So I started thinking, okay, making money is one aspect, but let's see how we can impact more and more and more people. So I deliberately tried to work in fields like healthcare and education and real estate, because these are the things where common people need solutions. And it's not just for like white collar workers or executives or certain class of people, because healthcare is a concern for everyone, education is a concern for everyone, everybody needs a home. So these are the things that led me to interesting avenues of building technology for millions and millions of people. And I didn't realize it at that time. It was just my, it was just my passion to like solve big problems. But what ended up happening was, I realized as you make bigger and bigger impact, you get more and more noticed by, you know, people that you didn't even imagine will notice you. Like, we created a project. We created a technology, AI based technology, to help students finish their degree programs, because 30% of the students drop out of their degree programs in the first 2 years, and
Mm.
this causes a huge revenue loss for the universities, huge social impact on societies, because a person who will drop out of the university program generally will never finish their degree program. They will not re-enroll, right? So we created a AI algorithm to match the students with the right courses, and that had a huge impact on the dropout rate. So that project actually got noticed by Bill Gates and Obama. And I didn't even know until we delivered the project, it was all done. And then, I noticed that, oh, how did this happen? And then I realized it's not the technology, it's not the person behind the technology, it's the impact that you can create with what you do is what gets noticed, right? So what I tell people is how I got here. First, it was just necessity, like I wanted to improve my life. But then over time, I learned it's all about the impact you create, right? And it's similar to what you are doing right now. Your story is no different, right? Like it's a very similar story.
Oh, I appreciate that. Oh my goodness, I am so inspired. I'm hearing you say that you were looking around your life and realizing that you wanted to create things like other people had, and you recognized that there was this formula for establishing your own sense of intrinsic value. And then beyond that, you went out and you decided to be of service to the world in these really impactful ways. And in a sense, did that choice of I guess skill development, but then also your decision to go into the fields of healthcare, of real estate, of education, do you feel that also fed and developed and expanded your intrinsic sense of value?
Absolutely,
That's
absolutely, yes. Yeah, because you get to know about problems that you were not even aware of. And
mm,
then when you hear people say, oh, thanks a lot, I got better education because of this, or I got better healthcare because of this, or uh, I can feel my joint pains are relieved because of this technology. The intrinsic value that you feel inside you, it increases exponentially, because now it's not about money. It's about, oh, I impacted somebody's life. How
mm.
powerful is that, right? So definitely it has that impact, that sense of increase in intrinsic value when you do these kind of things and impact other people.
Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness. I just feel such a spark. And the fact that you're in technology is also incredibly expansive as well. To be an outside of the box thinker, to be on the edge of innovation, it's such a novel thing. And to be able to apply creativity to such a quote unquote logical field sounds so exciting. So, would you be willing to talk more about your experience in tech and AI, utilizing, getting creative with, and then maybe also offering our audience some outside of the box ways of thinking about how they can apply tech and AI into their own lives, and maybe about how they can step into their passions as well if they are
Sure.
not currently living those dreams for themselves.
Okay. These are huge questions. I'll try to go through them one by one. First of all, technology and AI is all around us already, right? People who are under a misconception that it will come, it'll happen, it's already here. You take out your device from your pocket, everything on that device is controlled by AI. This meeting that we are recording we are speaking to each other in real time in high definition video. It's all a magic of AI. Before that, it was not possible, because every milliseconds of data that we are exchanging between our computers is being optimized by AI. That's how we are talking to each other. AI is basically a way to find patterns that are invisible to human mind. Okay, so meaning, if I touch a hot stove, I only need to touch it once to learn that I shouldn't touch it again. But if I touch the hot stove wearing heat resistant gloves and I'm in the middle of a winter a snowstorm and it's very cold, now my mind learns it's actually pleasant to touch the hot stove if the conditions are right. Right.
Mm.
So my mind is smart enough to learn these patterns given different variables, 3 or 4 different variables. But no matter how smart you are, you cannot comprehend more than 10 or 15 variables in a given situation. That's the limitation of our human mind. So now if somebody says, okay, can you help me find cure for cancer, or predict the weather, or tell me how I can fix climate change, these problems involve billions and billions of variables, right? um, and our human mind is not capable of comprehending, what is going on, what is the true pattern. But AI and machines are able to ingest billions of uh, uh, parameters or data points, and then find out exactly what is the pattern that exists. Make sense? Make sense so
Hmm.
far? Okay.
Absolutely.
So now, how can we apply this in our lives? So think of an area, because we all as humans have problems that we have to sort of solve every day on day-to-day basis. Like,
Mm.
it may be maintaining my schedule, it may be responding to emails, it may be doing some other random things that we have to do, but we are not very interested in. I would rather just like have somebody else do it, right? um, Now, the limitation is, when we want to delegate this stuff, we need to hire people, and that takes money, all of that stuff, right? So we get stuck in doing them. But now, imagine that if you are able to hire a super intelligent employee who has a PhD in sales and marketing and history, anthropology, science, and they are there for you 24/7, never take a break, and they are able to do some of these tasks for you.
Hmm.
How will that transform your life? Right?
Hmm.
So now you can start to see these patterns where you can say, okay, these repetitive things are taking 45 minutes of my day every day, and I'm going to delegate it to AI or some automation or technology, and I'll free up my 45 minutes every day, and I can spend those minutes, walk in nature, spend time with family, meditate, whatever that is. That has an exponential impact on your life. Just that 45 minutes, right? Now, the next question you said was like, how can they live their life purpose, right? So the key is, once you start to free up your mind first, because the thing is, you have to have a little bit of a mental space to think about these higher level thoughts, because if you are always busy running around, these things will not even enter in your mind. Once you make that mental space, then you can adopt, there are many frameworks. The one that I recommend is, it's called ikigai. It's a Japanese concept, and basically what it does is it helps you find your life purpose. So earlier I shared my story, how I created value by learning about what the world is going to pay me for and whatnot. So in ikigai there are four quadrants, and basically you say, what am I good at, what do I love learning, what does the world need, what will they pay me for. And once you sort of find the common uh, denominator between all those four quadrants, that becomes your life purpose, because now you can see you're living your life purpose, enjoying what you're doing, getting paid for what you're doing, and you are really good at it. So there is no other person on this planet who can compete with you in that arena. So it's my firm belief that all 8 billion people on this planet, they have a unique skill set that they are the expert in, right? And nobody else can match it.
You are so brilliant and so articulate, and that answer is so incredibly robust. And there's a couple of points that I want to draw out for the audience as well, because as soon as people launch into a conversation about artificial intelligence technology and the advancement of our world, there's a lot of fear that happens. And so I want to bring to the forefront right now in our conversation the importance of, yes, if you can hire out or pay for a service that is artificially run by this intelligent supercomputer, there will be a minimization of certain jobs, but those jobs are likely task-based and not advancing someone's purpose. And so
That's
I
true.
love the framework that you just put forth about Ikigai and discovering your unique life's purpose based on not only what is of service to the world, but also what individuals are passionate about, allows you to tap into the potential of finding work that actually lights your soul
Yeah,
ablaze.
exactly.
And you're not just on the cog, right? Technology can take over the cog jobs, and then it gives us room to be expansive and creative in order to find what we're most passionate about. And we can also change the societal discourse around, um, only these jobs are considered valuable and these ones are not, right? Like if people will say, well, you should be a lawyer and not a musician. Well, why?
So
Maybe
let me
someone.
blow your mind. Let me blow your mind on that, because that's a big fear, and I have so many debates on this, right, with people. The, see, the thing is that we as humans, we stick to one point of view and we say, okay, we get fearful about that point of view. So what is the definition of work? The definition of work, most people think, is I go to some place for 40 hours a week, and whether I like it or not, I have to spend that time and produce value, and I get paid for that, right?
Mhm.
Now, in 2020, we experienced something unique. Okay, the definition of work was sit at home and I'll pay you, right?
Yeah, essentially
we, we,
for
we
many people. I don't know if that was for everyone, but yes.
most of them, most of the people, right? Right. So 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 people think, oh, if I lose my job, what will happen? But the point is, the definition of work itself is flexible. It
Mm,
can change. So again, I'll give you another example. So you brought up very good examples, like, the cog and the kind of jobs that set your soul ablaze. This happened in Europe in 15th century. People must have heard of the Renaissance. So the Renaissance was a period when musicians and artists and poets, they were at the top of society. They were paid the most. They were the ministers in the royal courthouses,
mhm.
right? And so now, if all the jobs are done by AI, like the repetitive jobs are done by AI, humans are creative beings. Music, art is going to become the mainstream job. You see what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say?
absolutely, I do. Yeah, and what I'm also taking out of from what you're trying to say, well, from what you're saying very clearly, actually, I would like to clarify my
Mm.
words there. I love what you're saying, and I specifically love the point that society is the arbiter of um what is deemed valuable. And so there's flexibility. I
Yeah.
love the flexibility of these rules. And people don't think about that because we are so governed by our day-to-day lives and the fear of getting it right, the fear of what does tomorrow look like, that we're not living for today at all. And we're not allowing ourselves to actually pursue what we're creative. Or sorry, I'm just completely lost my words there. Pursue what we're passionate about and what we find most creative.
Yeah, exactly.
And so as a lawyer turned mindset consultant, empowerment coach, astrologer, I had a lot of trouble, candidly, leaving law and leaving this like shoulds
Mm.
box, right? And moving into a space that maybe people wouldn't see the value inherent in it. But why not?
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
why are we following these arbitrary rules?
Exactly.
I personally, I love technology, and I love applying it to my life, and I get very excited when it works.
Mhm.
I didn't get it yet, but I just invested in a robo vacuum, and I'm so
All right.
excited about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
Nice.
very excited about it.
Yeah.
No, but it's amazing. So I know that we spoke in our pre-meeting a little bit about your spiritual background and the mindset work that you
Mm,
employed in order to move along the journey of your life. And I think it could be a very interesting discussion to talk about maybe the correlations that you see between the advancements of technology, algorithms, as well as the reprogramming of one's mind. Like,
mhm.
do you feel equipped to talk about those
Yeah, yeah. See,
similarities?
definitely, because I mean, this has become my life work, life mission as well. Our human mind is not designed to evolve at a rapid pace. Evolution happens very slowly, right?
Mm,
And evolution happens by absorbing information from our surroundings. Now, Facebook came out like what 2005, and iPhone came out 2007. Okay, so since 2007, so it's been what 16 or 17 years. Our mind has been overloaded with information,
mm,
and these algorithms are very smart in that they are feeding our biases.
mhm,
So if you watch one video on let's say politics, you'll start to notice politics mentioned to you, thrown at you from all sorts of medium.
mhm,
And people don't understand how these algorithms work, but they just need a little bit of hint about what you're biased about, and then they'll just keep pushing more and more and more and more, right? And now you are as a human being, you're absorbing this information, and that becomes your world now,
mm,
right? Your mind is overloaded. Evolution is happening at a rapid, like exponential pace because of that, and our mind is overfried with all this information, right? That's what's
yes,
happening right now.
yes,
And the thing is that since we get locked up in this bubble, we are not able to see other people's point of view.
mm,
And then we sort of, that's where this division in society comes in and whatnot. So that's what's happening today, because these algorithms are designed to create sensationalism and, feed the bias. That's because that's what leads to clicks, that's what leads to ad revenue and all of that. Now, people who are conscious enough to understand what is happening and how it can be reversed, because technology itself is always neutral. AI is not is inherently designed to create harm. So what we can do is reverse the trend using AI, and we can say, okay, I will create an AI algorithm which doesn't promote sensationalism, but promotes connection,
mm,
but promotes you know people connecting at an emotional level, or exchanging deeper conversations, and that will be equally powerful, but that will be reverse of creating stress and anxiety, because now everybody will have a community around them who understand them and who can resonate with them and who can validate their ideas and uplift them.
mm,
Make sense? So AI itself is neutral. It's just the understanding of the people who create these algorithms has been skewed, and it shows up in the result. But what people like me and others like you, we can turn that in a reverse direction, so that AI can be used to actually create connection and uplift people,
mm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. And I think so the correlation for me around algorithms and intention behind algorithms is directly related to mindset and honing mindset and being able to work with the laws of the universe. And I think
Exactly.
that that is so cool when you kind of see those correlations. I swear, sometimes I cannot tell if my phone is working based on a technology algorithm or it's the universe giving a
Mhm,
sign, because I'm like, did I say that out loud? I don't
mhm.
think I said that out loud, and now I'm seeing it on my Instagram, or you know what I mean? And it's like, is this I play a game, universe or algorithm? And I think
Yeah,
in some ways it's both, because like
absolutely.
everything is one single conscious
It is both.
entity, and like we are kind of expanding and growing on
Exactly. It is.
that.
It is actually that is the power of artificial intelligence. I mean, the name itself says intelligence, right? So artificial intelligence. It is
Mhm.
actually an extension of our human mind. So that's how powerful it is, and it we are moving towards a future where we will not be able to distinguish between reality and virtual reality, if you will.
So some would argue that we're already there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's like, but I don't want to go into a full inception because I don't know if my mind can
It no no
handle it at the moment.
no, not at this moment. Like, we are not at that point yet. We are not ready for it. But as I said, evolution happens slowly, and when it happens, we ease into it. It's not going to be a shock like one day we are here, and so it happens slowly. But that's where we are going, and what you're picking up on is exactly right. Like, even if you think a particular thought, it will start to show up on your
Interesting.
feed. Yeah,
It's very cool. Like it's so freaking cool. So what is your relationship to spirituality? I know we talked about this a little bit when we first met.
yeah, yeah.
But your relationship to meditation, and how do you feel that those tools and techniques and I guess spiritual developments within your own self, how do you feel it impacts your life? How does it feel it impacts your success?
Yeah. So, I grew up in India, where basically the birth place of meditation. And the unfortunate thing is, I never paid attention to these things when I was growing up there. But then, as I came here, as I told you the story, I was getting quite a bit of professional success, but I was really miserable because of my personal challenges, my relationships with my ex spouse and my parents, and all of that. And then I had my firstborn child, and I could not connect with him. um, and that was like the lowest point in my life, and didn't want to live. I wanted to die. I wanted to just, you know
Hmm.
I became suicidal. And I realized that, I needed to fix myself, because um, killing yourself is not the answer. And I sought advice from psychiatrists, uh, therapists. They helped a little bit, but it wasn't like a breakthrough that I had. And then I got into meditation and spirituality, and that's when it started to unlock a lot of mysteries for me. How we create our reality, how I had a huge role to play in what I was experiencing,
Mhm.
and I had the power to undo that, and sort of resolve these things. So when I realized that, I was like, this is mind blowing. Why didn't we teach these things when I was like in fifth grade or sixth grade? Like, why do I have to suffer throughout my life? Um, and then I realized, I mean, the teachings they're all there. It's up to us to, learn or not learn. And when I started talking to other people who were sort of in pain, I was like, hey, you should meditate, or go look into these paradigms. And the most common answer I used to get was, um, I don't have time. I don't have patience to meditate. So I said, okay, let me see if I can make it a easier way for you to experience that. And that's where that link between artificial intelligence and spirituality came in, where I said, okay, I can if I can create a technology where you don't have to do much, but you start to experience meditative effect, how will that help? And then, people said, okay, that sounds interesting, but how do I make money out of it? So majority of the population is still sort of, materialistic. So again, what I found was, when you start to do these things, when you start to connect with people and have deeper conversations, it also impacts business, because now you can talk about uh, more opportunities, more partnerships, more transactions. So it has a direct correlation between how you evolve, how connected you are to other people, and the prosperity that you experience in life. So it's all sort of so interconnected that literally you can create technology or AI to experience anything you want: freedom, prosperity. How that's how powerful meditation is. And the combination of technology alongside meditation, it just enhances it exponentially.
Interesting. So, do you have technology on the market that helps people get into more meditative
Hmm, hmm,
states? What is that technology? Like, is it commercialized? Can I go buy
hmm,
it
hmm.
tomorrow?
Yeah, 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 yeah. um See, okay, so in simplistic terms, as humans, our deepest desire is connection with
Mm,
other humans. That's it. We
mm,
want to have a connection where we can express our authentic self, and people listen to it and they validate it. Even if they don't agree with it, they'll say, okay, I don't get it, but I see that your point of view. If every human being on this planet has that, there'll be no wars, no poverty, no nothing.
mm,
Right? Now, the problem is that the industrialized society has been built the opposite way to compete. And theory of evolution, Darwin said, uh, actually, that's a whole different topic. But we have come to believe that competition is what is the essence of life. But in my opinion, cooperation is the essence of life.
mm,
So when you use technologies to create that connection, to help people understand each other, then there is no you cannot help but experience that meditative state of mind.
mm,
You cannot help but go inside yourself and say, hey, all these people are talking to me, I feel great, talking to them, sharing my experiences. I'm learning so much. I mean, even this conversation we are having, it is adding to our lives and the lives of anybody listening.
mm,
um, and that's the impact of AI, because it can do this work on our behalf at a pace that humans cannot match. We only have 24 hours in a day,
mm.
right?
Oh, yes, that's a brilliant. I'm hearing you say, and tell me if I'm on track with this, but I'm hearing you say that one of the greatest benefits of the advancements of artificial intelligence and technology is essentially this unity consciousness, this
Mhm.
ability to lead people into more collaborative environments and cooperative environments wherein they can receive the love, the feeling, the sensation of being validated, supported, secure, seen as they are, um, which is very interesting because from a spiritual perspective, right? Love is all that is, that feeling of love, that feeling of being seen as you are is the crux of that energy that everybody wants to kind of invite more into their lives.
Mhm.
And so I love
Exactly,
it. I love the
exactly. Yeah.
the connection points.
And then the thing is that we joked about people call it woo woo, right? But I've implemented these kind of things in corporate environments where in generally in corporate environments is more competition, like people pushing down the agenda and then people overworking and all that. But if we just flip that and say, okay, the person at the top is a custodian of the welfare of the person below them, and so on and so forth,
Mm,
all the way down, that transforms the whole company.
mm-hmm,
And the results are beyond what people can get through conventional means and applying these case studies from Harvard and whatnot. And that's the reality. It's just that it's not mainstream yet, but
mm,
that's where we are going.
pay it forward.
Mhm.
Pay it forward. Think of your fellow human, right? Like I think horizontal relationships is a term that comes into mind right now for me, wherein there's not a hierarchy, you're not competing, you're not trying to surpass, and everyone becomes more growth oriented for their own advancement that then contributes to the advancement of those that they touch, those that they surround themselves with, those that they inspire.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's what I'm
Exactly.
hearing you say.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so,
absolutely.
so cool. My goodness. I think we're about time in the interview. Is there anything else that you would like to add? Anything that you would want to sum up in terms of the overarching message that we want to impart on our audience today?
Sure, sure. So one thing I'll say here is that there's a lot of fear and misinformation about AI. But just quickly, I want to share how big the opportunity is. Um, the CEO of IBM has said that AI is going to add about $10 trillion, trillion with a T, to the world economy by 2030. Okay,
Wow.
so 10 trillion is a big number. People cannot wrap their head around it, but that's more than the 10. That's more than 10% of world's wealth that is going to be added in the next 7 years. So that's how big the opportunity is. On the flip side, um, the danger of not letting go of this fear and not adopting this technology. So again, Peter Diamandis, he's the founder of X Prize. He has said that if by 2030, again 7 years, there'll be two types of businesses on this planet: one
Mm,
who are fully embracing AI, and one which are out of business.
mm.
So, so that's how big the opportunity is, and how dire the consequences are of continuing to be afraid of this or not adopting it. So, and we shared a little bit about how this technology is not just purely technology, but also has a very deep human connection as well. So anybody who's listening, I will just say, just really dive into it, because this is the opportunity of the lifetime, not only for yourself, but for your kids, grandkids. I talked about Renaissance. Like, I get excited about the possibility of another Da Vinci coming across, another Michelangelo coming across. So that could be uh, somebody on this planet right now. So that's where we are going. So I just want to share that message so that people can really see what this means for them and
Very,
their families. Yeah.
very, very cool. Thank you so much, Manish, for taking this time to explore AI and your journey with us today on the podcast. It's been such a pleasure and an honor to have you here. For our
Thank you.
audience, if you are interested in Manoj and Manoj's content and insight, inspiration, then I will make sure to include all links and relevant information in the description below this podcast. So that's where you can find that. Again, Manoj, thank you so much for having
Thank
this
you so
conversation
much.
with me today. It's been
Thank you.
truly enriching.
Thank you. Thank you for
Uh,
having me.
until next time.